I'm signing up everything.
Yeah, I don't have a pen on me. They usually pass the pen around with it.
You're on Washington? No. Hey, you'll get them signed, that's fine.
All right. They don't have it on a clipboard.
How you doing, James? Hey, Sammy.
Yeah, and they've got some of their meeting
Okay, we'll
minutes
call the
are
May
on
14th,
YouTube too. I'll give you both of them.
To order, you would please stand for the invitation. Wayne, you can lead us.
Our Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for this day. Lord, we thank you for this neighborhood. And we just ask, Lord, you to bring us together so that we can bring the neighborhood closer and get the things done that we need to do. Lord, we just ask you to be with us and guide and direct us. Lord, we just ask you to be with all the members and just watch over and make sure they have the things they need in life. Lord, we give you the honor and the glory and we praise you.
Amen. Please face the flag and salute.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for coming out to our May meeting. Getting ready for the summer. I hope the weather is going to be good to us this year. So I guess y'all do notice the river's going to come back up now another couple of feet.
Oh, yeah.
After it went down, so be prepared.
Come up to 18.
Huh?
I think it's supposed to come up to about 18 foot.
Yeah.
What was that, 22, 25?
Well, I got it, 21, I think. 20 and a half. And then it went back down.
Right.
Turned down.
It's not going to take too much on these sustained rains though to bring it right
Trees are
up.
falling over everywhere.
Yeah. All right, well, thank you all for coming out tonight. We'll move on to the agenda. So, Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Glenn Turner,
Here.
Tom Trammell,
Here.
Vonda Ackerson, James Baker,
Here.
Judy Grimm, Mike Davis. No?
Mike's out of town.
Okay. Sammy Keene,
Here.
Tommy Matthews.
I think Mike is, Tommy's with his wife. She broke her hip.
Oh, my goodness.
Here.
Wayne Seller,
Here.
Charlie Thompson,
Here.
Terry Hester, here. Mickey Olson, here. Vicky Sellers, here. Bill Grimm.
Okay, thank you. So we have a motion from the board to approve those members that are absent but did call in. A motion by the board.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
By Mr. Trammell,
Second.
second by Charlie. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We move on to the agenda, copy of the agenda. You have a motion to approve the agenda. Make a motion to approve the motion by Wayne, second by Vonda. Any discussion on the agenda? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. So we have minutes, Madam Secretary, to approve, and I believe we have March and April minutes. Is that correct?
That is correct. At the last meeting, when I realized I had sent the March meetings incorrectly, I resent them, and we were to approve them today. Any corrections? Okay.
We'll go ahead and mention the April. We'll just do both of them at the same time. So
Okay.
there's no objections.
You received the April? By the way, Sammy, did you receive them? I sent them to you again.
Yes, ma'am, I did it all this
Yeah.
time.
Okay, any corrections for April? All right.
Okay, so with that said, we need a motion to approve March and April's minutes. Sammy, you make the motion?
Motion.
Okay, we have a second. Second. Second by Charlie. Any discussion on the minutes? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Move on to Secretary's report. Bill, do you have anything to
Nothing to report.
Okay, and we'll move on to the treasurer's report. Vicki?
Okay. Banking information, did everybody have that? As of April the 30th, our Seacoast checking account is $138,235.71. Our reserve savings account, $503.56. Our CD account is already up to $50,413.39. And our C2 expenditure checking account is $16,638.70 for a total of $205,791.36. Our monthly checks were $4,914.12. Auto draft $795.71. So our expenditures were $5,709.83. Our total deposits were $14,093.04. Any questions on the banking information?
Board members, do you have any questions? Motion to approve. Motion by Charlie to approve. Do you have a second?
Second.
Second by Judy. Any discussion on the finance report? And that's to include all checks for the month of 49/14/12, correct?
Yes, sir.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Vicki. Anything else, Vicki?
No.
Usually you do.
I know, I've been out of town.
All right. So we'll move on to the president's report. Terry?
Okay, I've passed around applications for the gay readers to put on the website, and I want y'all to look at it and y'all approve it. The volunteers to work gay at Hunter Park. One volunteer there instead of anybody. Volunteer to get it in,
To get on the budget.
to get out of the budget on the gay readers. Or how you people are gonna stand up and do it.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, at your meeting, there were a lot of folks that said they wanted to volunteer.
Yeah.
So, you questioned it in the budget, so I think you did take out readers and left space for volunteers.
We took out one reader musician.
Uh,
So we need one person that's gonna volunteer what are your
At
hours?
Hunter Park.
What are your hours on
9
Saturday?
to 6 on Saturday and 10 to 5 on Sunday. And I need to work all day like my regular day.
Which part?
Total,
Over, okay.
And also Memorial Day, what's that, 25?
90, yeah, 10 to 5 on the holiday week.
And what about the other parks?
I got my regular rules from work.
Okay. All right, so that'll be out there. Now, if you run into any issues, you don't get volunteers, we're prepared to move some money or do something
You don't have
in
to
that
do
regard.
something.
Okay,
Yeah, I mean,
It takes 2 people at Hunter Park.
correct, it does. Okay,
Another thing is, I know Bill's been down there one time, I've been down there twice in the last couple of weeks. We need to do something about getting more power out here at the pavilions because everybody's bringing prop pods and all kinds of stuff in now.
Right.
And it keeps slipping the brake for those.
so you have only a 20 amp service feeding
Yeah.
all the pavilions,
Yeah.
just one service line, okay? If you look at the panel box, I know that was a
It's
new
where
200
they-
amp box that was put in when the bathrooms were done, so we have capacity.
There's room there, you know,
Okay,
even if we have, I'm sure there's room out there in town, but it needs to split a breaker.
okay. So, all right, you mentioned something to me about that, and I've got an electrician that'll work with us.
No, we need to get a couple,
Full permit.
because I need a few things done, since we're gonna do a good guy to do all of it. At Brandon Park, we need to fix that,
Yeah.
weatherhead, so we're gonna need a permit for that.
Okay, did that get hit by a tree?
They got hit by the hurricane last year. And, we tried to get a permit, and Jerry went over to.
Swanee County?
Swanee County, and they wouldn't let us get a permit, because it's not a hard job. It's only an inch and a quarter pipe, and I didn't
Right.
get 9 amp. But,
So we just need to get an electrician
we
to
gotta have
pull
an
the
electrician.
permit.
We already got one quote from,
Burns Electric in Brantford.
Okay, all
They're
right,
the ones that put the service in for us.
Okay. All right, then why don't we get together and discuss that and also talk to Troy up in Columbia County.
We
And
just, thing is, you know, I get somebody asking me to pull from here,
Yeah,
and I've asked a few that were electricians, but they're not able to pull permits.
well, from a liability standpoint, we're gonna be, need to get a certified electrician.
Oh, absolutely. We need it run out to that building out there,
Yeah.
because there's a wire, but I don't think it's even hot.
You know,
Yellow wire too.
back in the day, I think Mike Davis and Charlie did that, ran the raw stuff.
Yeah.
I believe there's some conduit in the ground that connects back to that box.
I don't know.
So we'll have to do a little exploration on that.
And then we'll run in out another circuit out there, because they put in an extra fan too this year,
Right.
and that fan's messing up, so, Tommy Matthews is gonna have him come out, the guys that installed the fan, and check it. It's probably a bad fan because it's the second time it's on.
Okay, so let me ask you this, is one service gonna be enough?
Well, you have two 20-amp services, that should be, that run at least five, each one of them run at least 5 receptacles. The thing is, you know, they can't, you know, 20 amps is 20 amps, you don't go on, people turn on a compressor, you know, when the compressor starts up, it's gonna pull 10 amp, 9 amps, or
Right.
whatever. And somebody else has those here, pots on, they pull a lot of amps. I think 2 will be enough, but if we're gonna pay the guy, at least we ought to do is maybe deadhead one out there, so that for the future, we're not having to,
While you're doing it,
yeah, that's my thought,
right.
and so go from
But
there.
as much use as it gets, it'd be worth.
It's gonna be a good deal this year too, with this
Yeah,
year.
there's a lot of people.
Two families used the main pavilion this weekend, but one time, so that's, you know.
Do we need to go anywhere else in the park with power? Or
I
it's just
don't, I don't think so, because it floods all down there.
Yeah, it's just to the gate and to the
The
small
pavilion?
pavilion, this pavilion, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, then, board members, y'all comfortable with Bill and I working on that? Sure. Okay, so we'll work to get the permits, and we've got some folks that have electrical license that can pull it and actually will work with us to help us keep the cost down, so.
Is everybody good with that application?
Pardon?
Is everybody good with that application for Gabriel?
Yes. The only thing that I don't see are the times that she mentioned. Are they on here?
Probably not on the application itself.
Not the
That would be-
times.
No? I mean, that's a lot of commitment.
Not every, I explained that when people were saying that, I mean, we're asking all day. They don't have to do all 2 days or 3 days, but I mean, we need someone that can
They
do
show up for one
a
day,
full
they
day.
work the full day.
Right.
Right,
Yeah.
but you're training them at the
No,
beginning.
you're gonna have some folks on standby,
Yeah.
right? Just in
Yeah,
case
I
you
got
get pulled.
somebody on standby, yeah.
All right, so, board members, are you good with that application? We won't take a vote on that if you, is anybody opposed to that application utilizing that? No? So we'll just say the consensus is we'll use that application, okay? Okay, Terry, anything else?
Are we doing anything about complaints right now, or is it on or?
Complaints, you don't have any complaints? I haven't heard any.
About 7,
Huh?
about 7,
You have some lights?
Yeah, I would really wish you could give them to the chair before the meeting, okay? So
Oh, I wasn't.
unless it's something that we need to act, it's something we need to act on right now that might be,
No,
Who writes things? Who'd you- how'd you know?
So I have to do that.
Okay. Okay. All right, then I'll get with you, we will review those, and if it's something that we need to speak with the board about, we will. Hopefully it's something that's in our recipe book, that we can take care of, all right? All right, do you have anything else, Terry?
That'd be the,
Okay, so we will move now to, park manager report. Bill?
I didn't have Tommy here to go through this, he came late, so. I'm on wings, all right?
He's got it redacted.
All the, yeah, it needs to be redacted. All the parks are open now, so, cleanup is still required. So last meeting, I requested that members, if they're out and about, and, you know, they see some small branches and stuff, throw them up into the brush. I was gonna go down today with a chainsaw and clean up that one tree anyway, that point part, but the weather wasn't right. But people can still get by there with no real trouble. And now water's coming back up again. I'll go down there with my chainsaw and cut it up. There's 2 trees, one of them in particular that's leaned over.
Where was this at?
At Point Park, it's not causing any real trouble getting in the park. It's just there, it looks kind of like it should be there. So I'm gonna take care of that, but, the water came up so high and everything else. There's several things that need to be taken care of. It's starting to be left open again, and they're leaving, and then I see, and I'll be in the park or something, somebody will leave it open, they're leaving it open for other people following in behind them. And they're not members, and you know, if they don't have a key, and if I lock it behind me, they're stuck in there without a key. Now, you don't want to be talking, just let me tell them blue in the face, because it's crazy. Why can't somebody go in there, unlock it, why can't you just lock it back in and out, in and out?
All we can do is continue
Yes,
to
sir.
keep in mind.
Keep-
People that, I mean, think about being in New York, and people jumping the little toll thing there, getting on the subway.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Okay, we don't have the kind of problems they got.
we don't.
No vehicles are allowed in Brandon or Fishing Park. No, especially now, it's still muddy in both of them. Camping parks open back up. We have some repairs we need to do in camping park.
Right.
We've discussed that.
In Brennan Park.
And Brandon Park, we've taken care of that. Dogs are still being taken into the parks, and it appears to be the same people doing it for the most part. The dogs, first and only thing you can ask them is this dog a service animal required for a disability? And what work or task has the dog been trained to perform? That's it. But there is state law that these people, if they're lying and faking that it's a service animal and or emotional support animal, they're under section 314 and 413 and 817. False and fraudulent information being used that way, they can be fined through the court system. If they're lying about their dogs coming in and they're not actually what they say they are. Emotional support animals are not allowed, they're really supposed to be in the park, and we don't. And the other one is, there's nothing we can really do over the ADA.
Well, you know, we're working with, I think I had the conversation, we're working with a legal group to just, they're having a discussion with the sheriff's office
Right.
and with the state right now, so we are working on that. And they are in conversation, so we'll get a clear definition.
In your packet, I printed out
Okay.
for some of you, some of the different things and ways of finding out or seeing if the dogs are fake or not. Because the dogs are supposed to be trained, they're supposed to be able to do certain things, they're not supposed to be not off their leash. They're supposed to be, only supposed to be in control of the animal. If it's barking at somebody, it's not a service animal, unless that person's causing that other person's problem. But you can read about it a little bit if you want to.
Well, let me throw out something right now. I remember having a conversation a few weeks ago about some pit bulls and dogs that are running right in this area here.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And as you know, the county has actually hired their own code enforcement team. They erected their own office, and they have code enforcement personnel who are responsible for the code enforcement of those animals. So that's not in the lunchbox for the Humane Society.
Right.
So there's going to have to be more pressure because these dogs are running up. Matter of fact, I had one come in my yard, and I had to chase it out of the yard. And pull my dog down. So they are running loose in the neighborhood here. It's gonna take a consistent effort to try to get these animals under some kind of control. We don't know right now, unless some phone calls have been made. I understand that a few calls have been made, and the code enforcement has come up with a plan where you have to file the complaint,
Yeah,
and then there's another complaint or whatever. That's probably not gonna be good enough in the long run.
no,
And I don't know, yeah, James?
Either they could just check with Swanee, because Swanee's pretty simple. My stepdaughter dog, with somebody else's pasture, they call, they come out, and they tell them to keep tapping them when it cites you. I mean, this is Swanee County, we're not trying to get complicated like Latin County or something like that.
This is not even a pasture, this is a road
Exactly.
with and a park,
Exactly.
so it's even worse than that.
And they're running on the road where they can get run.
Right, but you've seen them,
They were out today.
quite sure, and I think we ran one out of the park.
I ran back a few
Forty
times.
minutes the other day.
Over here.
May I show two photos? This is what those dogs did to my cat. See this cypress right here?
Yeah,
James finally came over with his long ladder, and I had to climb that ladder to get my cat out of the tree. That's an 18-foot ladder or 20-foot ladder?
Somewhere around there.
It's tall.
You went up the ladder?
I did.
Oh,
I wasn't sure the cat was going.
So that happened March 19th, and this happened the next day. This is the front yard at
Okay.
lunch. I'm gardening, and the dog still rushed for my cat.
yeah.
And she climbed the front tree.
So did
This
you
is
file a
what-
report?
I sure did, and they got fined, but he doesn't have to pay it. He can debate whether he wants to pay it or not.
What if he doesn't pay it?
I don't know, but I then filed another report, and David just filed 3 reports because they keep coming. They want her. And,
Let me offer a suggestion. Why don't we invite the county code enforcement to come to our next meeting
That would be good.
and let them tell us what their rules are and how they plan to act on those rules.
So I reach out to Swanee County on that as well.
That'd be great.
I was gonna ask you, when you were talking about the team, is this a new team that they put together?
The county decided that they didn't want to have the Humane Society continue to do that task. So they had a lot of complaints, and board members upon themselves decided that they would remove it from that agency, which is a volunteer agency, and take it on by themselves because they could save money. So they hired 3 or 4 people, gave them insurance, and whatever, bought brand new trucks to put a building so they can save money. And so they're in charge. Now, I will tell you this much, they're picking up an awful lot of animals. But I don't understand why down here in Fort White, that when you get the runaround, it sounds like to me that's what most people are saying. So, you don't know what's the difference?
Yeah.
So maybe we can get them to do that. We might actually even put the notice out to let more people know that they're gonna come talk about that, because it is a serious problem in a small little rural community.
I'd like to have the number, because the last Bible study we had, those 3 dogs across the street kept rushing over here when ladies would pull up. They
Right.
were scared to get out of their cars.
Right.
So if our Bible study's starting up again tomorrow, I would like to have the number, so I can call if they start coming over here and scaring
Is there a way we can post the number on the website to
animal
Code
control,
enforcement?
code enforcement?
the code
I
enforcement?
don't see why not. How would you want to label or categorize that? What would be the best way for someone to find that?
Well, what if we just come up with a small directory for the county? The
Yeah.
emergency number for the sheriff's office,
Great idea.
FWC,
What county?
I think they had one for injured wild animals, also for FWC.
Great
Which we
idea.
run into, and then we could do the code enforcement, which covers stray animals, lost animals, injured pets.
Is there a collection of those numbers somewhere? Does
The
anybody know?
county should have
I
a
think I've seen that
directory.
in some, maybe it's an old phone book or
On
something.
all phone.
Back when they used to have phone books.
Yeah.
This is Columbia
Columbia
County.
County.
so
So,
Vicky, it's 386-758-3352.
Thank
So,
you.
yes,
Also, you can call, I think it's the road department, say when deer or whatever is hit on the road, to have them removed. That they send somebody from, Waste Management to come pick them up, because, again, right here, with our traffic we have coming in, between the buzzers being stirred up when somebody drives by and so forth, it's just another one of the services of county, we pay taxes.
That's
to
a
have in the
hazard
village.
too.
No, it's that.
So who wants to take on that task of putting together those emergency numbers so that we can get those into our website? Anyone want to?
I don't
Who will?
I could do it.
Y'all want to work together on it, maybe?
Yeah, I got a lot of the numbers, I
Here.
could just give them to you.
Okay, and then we can get with you, Charlie, and find a way to get that set, so we can find the location for it, okay? All right. Where were we? You got want to discuss?
Park manager.
Okay, so,
Like I said, that's a pretty good read there, that stuff, but you can also go online and get more information concerning fraudulent. Saying your dog is a service animal, and actually it isn't. There are some avenues that we can have, same thing with emotional support animal. We don't allow emotional support animals in there. Okay, the other, some of the same members from last year don't feel that the rules pertain to them or their guests. I've already had an issue. Dogs in the park, glass in the park, trailers at the midpoint and point park, boats moored out here and over at park. And property gets me like improper. I have a talk with them and they act like, the big sign, both the trailers and both the glass, those are two major things. They act like, they can't read or something. I don't know the story.
that's going to have as much to do with the trespass, and that's what the legal group is working with the sheriff's office in the state, so we can get that determination. Once that's determined, then the board can take action.
And we're getting them on camera because I know the people and they're regular, and do the same thing over and over.
Right.
And then I'm the one that harassing them when I ask them to follow the
That's
rules.
your job, just to ask them,
Okay,
please not do that.
But do you have a diary of a date and their name and that they've done it? Because if they do it more than 3 times, maybe we should be, penalizing.
What I'd like to do is get it established through law enforcement first. It'd be better to have law enforcement handle that. We can actually do our warnings as we communicate with law enforcement, then we can take action.
People need to understand if they, if somebody gets injured in the park and I documented that somebody's been drinking beer, I'm not bringing that to the
Yeah, well, let me explain something about that.
Beer bottles and stuff.
Yeah, that is a job that the board has agreed for the park ranger to do. So therefore, if you don't do that, and something happens, then we're gonna be liable.
That's right.
We're liable anyway, but if we don't do it, we're gonna be more liable in the opinion of the law. So that's your job.
And, anymore, it's not much more than, hey, do you mind taking that out of here? Other issue we're having is, remember, at the boat ramp, I don't know as much on that side because they got more room, but they're leaving the gate open long enough for 3 or 4 more boats to come in behind them that are there in their party. I don't know how you want to handle it. Our parks, that thing does not already hold our members. Now, if they bring in guests over and parking their boat trailers in our, that thing's gonna be full this year. I know it will this year, it's already.
Well, what can potentially happen? You can only do so much.
Well, my
So
thing
at
is,
the end of the day, once once we can get determination of what it is, the members themselves will be the ones to complain the most, and we'll find a solution to it. So we're not gonna put 100% science on that, Bill,
no, I know.
but we are gonna work to reduce it and restrict it the best we can. But now, in honesty though, like, I have a boat, my sons have boats, and we will all go down, so that can happen.
Well,
and that
yeah,
does happen. But at the end of the day, if it's people bringing and waiting for a lot of other folks to come, that's very nice and good, but that's not fair to the rest of the
My
ministry.
suggestion would be, if someone's gonna be on the weekends and holidays,
Right.
my suggestion would be to have the gate reader check the key for each person, or ask
Sure.
if they, something like that.
Especially on holiday weekends.
Especially on holiday weekends, because it fills up, they'll know that.
Right.
Okay, my suggestion for camping park and all of the pavilions, people go onto the Trico.net calendar and reserve them. Every one of the pavilions, that way you know you're gonna have it,
It's filling up too.
and it's filling up. I'm even saying, now camping park, if they're gonna camp the night out at camping park, that needs to be put in that calendar. Because I'll show up there at 1 or 2 in the morning, somebody will be out there, and I'll have to wake them up and ask them if they remember, or if they have a key, you know? Even if, because most of the time they leave the gate open so you can get in and out.
Right.
And that's happened quite a few times. And the thing is, we're, camping park, that's only one pavilion down there.
Right.
And, you know, it's not fair for groups that can't use it because the same group keeps using it all the time, or same groups keep using it all the time. It needs to be on calendar. And somebody can say, well, it's already been reserved for so-and-so.
So what's the board, what do you think, board members? Should we put that on the calendar to reserve it also?
I thought it was. I thought they're supposed to run it.
If they can. But we talking about people going down there and spending the day and over.
I'm talking about all the
True,
pavilions.
you're right. People have been, so mainly, yeah, we have not had anybody really for camping, but they have.
Already been done.
Even, I know, but I'm just, I know.
Order large
I think
pavilion,
you
order
should
small
reiterate it.
pavilion, clubhouse requires $100 Point Park Pavilion 1, Point Park Pavilion 2, camping park campsite. That's what you can currently
You got
reserve.
midpoint in there?
It's there to reserve at that point.
Midpoint's
Maybe that's why
you
it's
got
talking about this
pavilion.
one person. Thank you.
I guess we could.
Well, you know,
And it's not just camping park, campsite, it's the pavilion. that camping park.
Are they all there?
well, we put numbers on them for a reason,
Okay.
right?
Where's the campsite in the pavilion, just add to that one.
Good.
And I think it's good that there's folks using it all
Well,
the
I
time.
do too.
So, but in fairness, if there's an opportunity for it to be shared, it should be scheduled.
Reason why they're there to
So
be
you can
used.
fix that? Sure. Board members, y'all good with that? Okay.
So y'all gonna make it where all pavilions have to be reserved at other park?
All the parks.
All the
All the
parks?
parks.
Because what we have right now is you reserve the clubhouse, the large pavilion, the small pavilion, everything else is first come, first served, is how it sits right now.
It's all first come,
The
first
thing
served.
is, that's fine, you know, but if somebody had,
The problem I see with that is a lot of people that reserve the other part don't show up sometimes, and you might have three pavilions sitting down there, nobody knows.
Well, then maybe we need to find out what time they're gonna be there. I mean, this is one more step of work, but to find out when they're wanting that pavilion, and if they're not there within a 2-hour window, it's released.
well, this weekend was, people.
Yeah, but y'all
Give
should,
them 20 minutes, 20
Not
minutes.
2 hours.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
It's first come, first served. You're not gonna be there within, you're not gonna be there within 30 minutes.
Well, this weekend we had issues with the pavilion, nothing major.
Because if you're making plans, you're making plans.
Yeah.
Well, I don't see that on what I've been doing, if the pavilions get overrun, then I just will reserve the one up off the hill for somebody.
It's been
At
working
least
just
you do
fine.
open at the bottom.
And we generally don't reserve a pavilion at a time frame anyway. You
No,
reserve to the
that's-
day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she's saying they never show.
If they don't show.
And then we've got pavilions and other people wanted them, and that's not fair is what she's saying. Or didn't, and it's not.
Have we had a lot of complaints
We're
with
not.
people coming after, well, you're saying they're just staying open.
Yeah.
But you'll have
it's-
two people that
are
want a
people
certain
filling-
day.
Yeah, but if there's nobody there, are people filling in to those anyway? I mean, I would if it was left open there, you said it's
No,
reserved.
if I put a reserve sign out there, then nobody's gonna mess with it.
Yeah, we got,
Trying to curtail anybody getting upset and having fights
But
over
like, we were so
pavilions.
busy this last weekend, I actually had to reserve the one off the hill, and I could see you could reserve the one, but I think them two down there by the water should stay there.
Yeah,
I agree. The only time that I reserved the pavilion, it was at Coder, and I gave from 4 to 6. So, you know, it wasn't an all-day thing. I mean, I'm sure that some families need all day for their parties, but a lot of us just need a couple hours.
Well, we had two big families in one, the big one,
Yeah.
this weekend, that worked out okay.
so Bill, what do you recommend?
Well, I'm recommending that, you know, I'm trying to curtail any animosity and issues, you know,
Right?
with people. Well, you know, your name wasn't on the calendar, or your name isn't, you guys are here all the time, you know, and I've had people complain about that, not being able to use certain pavilions because there are people in them all the time, same groups.
That's just like what I
Well,
told you the other day,
Yeah.
with the many members we got now, you can't wait till a day or two before you go and reserve the pavilion to call for. You know, you better get on there a couple months in advance now.
It is, because most of
Yeah.
June's full.
Yeah.
And it's, to me, it's just kind of stopping the issue before it gets going.
Well, I do like the idea that if someone doesn't show,
Yeah,
that within about 30 minutes, that reserve sign needs to come off.
That is one thing.
Because you don't
That's
want-
very fair.
that's a lot of follow-up, so who's gonna take that
Well, on
on?
the weekend, she puts
It's
the
just
sign
the
up
weekend,
anyway.
it's on the weekend generally.
Only time I make during the week is
Right.
if somebody reserves.
And if they're running behind, they can call Terry. I mean, it's not like we're.
I mean, we're gonna make the effort to hit the maximum times that we can. That's about-
Absolutely.
So maybe going forward, you tell them when they reserve it, if you're not there in 30 minutes, it's gonna be released. You better
You know,
call me.
I've got to be able to hang my hat on something too when people see me in the park and they say, we're supposed to be on the.
Okay, so,
You can.
how do we need to get that into the,
First come, first served.
what do we
When
need to-
they reserve, it should just go out.
No, I mean, we need to have it where they see and read that. and
Then
understand.
when they reserve, an email gets sent to them, that needs to be put in that email, right, Lana?
What? Don't they have to fill out a little?
Yeah, you fill out the form.
If we get the key number in the name.
It's the last one.
Don't we have a set of rules for
They
the,
must reserve.
Yeah.
we have a set of rules, so
Yeah.
it needs to be in the rules, and you
Yeah.
have it in the rules.
Yeah.
That's what I agree to be responsible for my guys.
Where can you find these rules?
Any message, I'm gonna send it out.
For elections.
And, you know, I just want to make it cognizant of everybody that
So you're working at time then?
the pavilion might be available if people come to use it.
Right.
So Bill, you about finished with your report, you have a couple more items on there?
Yeah, you know.
Let Charlie work on that for a second, we'll come back to you, Charlie, okay?
I got a phone call about that.
Yeah, I had a member ask me about, what do you think the people could do something about possibly investing in or having somebody run a water truck around here on busy weekend days.
We talked about that
Yeah.
a long time ago, I like the rain, we have to wait on the rain. to
Okay.
pray.
Because it's so smoky, it gets almost like.
We've got a lot of people that are doing that though, and I think that's kind of neat that they are.
Not a beer truck. Well, I was the one that brought that up.
Beer truck?
Because, no, yes, beer truck, no, the water truck.
Yeah, I
I was
didn't
saying
see-
because this is a county maintained road, if the county can come by during the summer times, because every house around here and everybody in golf carts gets nailed.
We know.
Like,
Yeah.
We absolutely know
I
what you
live on
mean.
a curve, and buddy, they dust me right out.
Uh,
Does the
I
county
might
have-
actually.
And I call them dusters on the weekends, you
Yeah,
know, when.
I'm just
people
gonna
come
kind
in.
of, I wouldn't send anybody to go to the county and ask them to do that. They're just not gonna do it. There's just no way they're gonna, because they have,
Okay.
they've got thousands of miles of dirt roads in the county.
Yeah,
It's the same complaint as what you'll hear. Does something need to be done? It'd be nice if it could be, if the speed limits were were maintained and people would slow down. I mean, especially folks are walking on the road and sometimes folks would go by them at 50 miles an hour. I mean, literally just blank them out almost. It's horrible, but I don't know what we talked about that solution years ago. I don't know what the answer is. I don't think we can afford to buy a tanker truck. There's somebody to run it, but I'm just saying. A lot of folks that just put sprinklers on it. We discussed that with the county, and that's a no.
Okay.
So, anyway, all right. So,
That's the gentleman that brought it up.
okay. And what's your name?
Shane Kemp.
Shane Kemp. Thank you, Shane. We'll just keep thinking maybe something good will happen in that way. I don't know
Yeah, I
what the
think,
answer is just yet.
Or a gator with a water tank on the back, a little sprayer that just goes drives around with, you know, something simple, just to.
We need a billionaire to move in the neighborhood. And get us
I know a guy who owns an asphalt company, so there you go, he may have something.
There you go.
We have a
All right.
petition
Yeah.
to pay.
Yeah.
We've requested paper,
He
so.
does.
Good luck with that.
Unless any of the board members have any questions, I think
Okay.
I've wasted a lot of your time.
Good job, Bill. Thanks. Charlie, you have a solution?
Actually implemented on the website right now.
Okay. And that would be the provision of 30 minutes.
Well, I'm adding a date, time,
Okay.
to the website.
Okay.
Two from.
Charlie, can you add it to the rules that we have for the parks? We have to set rules for them, that hurt.
Okay.
Can
Right.
we just add that to it, if not?
We can add that to the rules, and then we're gonna be reworking the rules to bring it back to the board to approve all the rules. But we can actually work on that. We can utilize that as our rule, but we'll do an official action on that.
I know last year we put numbers on it for that, we did talk
Right.
about this before.
Exactly. Okay, we'll move on then, thanks. We'll move on to maintenance committee. Tommy is out, of course, with his wife. Bill, we've had a few maintenance issues. I think you've taken care of most of those.
Right, most of them have to do with just lock issues and, over at, Overland Park over on the 20 side, I went over and two of the pavilion seats were wobbly. When they were first put in, it was put in with nails. I ran two lags on each side into the posts, about this long, about half inch. And I think those were tightened, they tightened them right up, so those aren't wobbly no more.
Okay.
Let's see.
I just wanted to mention too, the portal that you moved those out because of flood, and I guess you're probably gonna have to leave them out because
Sounds like it, that's what
it's
we.
coming back up to 18, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's numbers, a low number, to be honest with
We'll
you.
be in hurricane season soon, so
Yeah.
keep your fingers crossed.
The water was around 22.6 or something like that.
Why are we paying for them every
I
month?
think
We're
it was
paying for
22, wasn't it?
porta potties every month to sit right there.
22.6, yeah, so that old mark was the old 24.
That's right. Oh, you can go use them.
Before they changed to the 88.
don't know
Whatever that
if it'd be-
NED or whatever they call it, an NED or whatever.
I don't know if it'd be worth it to have them pick the portal that's up, save us a month.
They don't, I don't think that they.
They'll
are
do
they-
it, but what they'll tell you is that when you need them, they may not have them to bring out.
That's right.
So they would rather you keep them, of course.
Right.
I had to start time, end time, and I didn't. Right.
Great.
Okay, so we've got that added to the website. Okay, all right, so we'll move on then to communications. Vicki, Vonda. You took over the meeting before I had to come on, so.
Okay, we'll start with the membership. So for May, we're Columbia County side is at 654 members. Suwannee County is 240 members. We're at 894. There's really nothing else to learn.
No, really.
Wow.
Top here.
That's Friday. If we can find a spot, for June, we might do a quick, some kind of,
Summer
thing.
thing.
Yeah,
Summer
we'll
bash.
put that out if we can get that together.
In June? Okay. But that, all you would need to do, all y'all need to just reserve the pavilion. So get that done.
You better reserve
They're
it.
busy.
You need
Okay,
to
so
plan
we'll-
ahead.
So we'll move on then, you're finished with your communications?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
we'll move
during
on
the
then to
party
new
we picked
business and just the,
That nobody knows about?
we did discuss the gate readers, the president, but we'll also talk about the 2024 election review paperwork. So Vonda, you've got something together for that?
What I did is I went back from last year. I gave each of you, it has a paper clip on, hold the two pieces together. It's the, election and voting procedure. And all I did is went in and changed the dates. Generally, they're the same. Of course, I think this year's the 12th is our members' meeting. Last year, that we stopped receiving the absentee ballots and the proxies that Monday, so I changed it, whatever that is, the 7th. So I did it on the layout the same way, so it's on the 12th, we stopped taking that Monday, just like last year. The only thing that I, other than changing the actual dates from 22 to 24, or 25, whatever it was, is there was a place where I remember Skip sat down here for 2 different weekends with the ballot box, so people could turn them in, and out of 2 weekends, we had 2 people. So I just took that part out because it's just as easy to take it to the post office, put it in your mailbox. If you can't come to vote, you can get it in.
Okay.
So all of,
So this election coming up, I know there's 2 sides, there's a 5 side and a 6 side,
right,
right? So,
B is up, which is 5.
uh-huh,
So, so there'll be five spots, for board members. There will be the 4 officers, because those are only 2 years, and then 4 alternates.
okay, do you know which board members are up?
I do.
Okay, you want to go ahead and,
It would be Glenn Hunter, Tom Trammell, Sammy King, Mike Davis, and the MTC, which was Rick Hall.
okay.
So those were the 5.
5, okay. All right.
So just different things on here.
If you could highlight, the actual dates on the candidate guidelines and stuff.
I will, but I think we might could even put this, maybe put this on here, so people can, well, I'll send a copy of it. But just roughly, let me give you a rundown, just to give you the highlight dates. So it's gonna be on October 12th is our members' meeting. It tells that this, you can vote if you're in good standing. It's 5 board members serving a 4-year term from January 1 of 25 until December 31st of 2028. 4 alternates, 2-year term from January 1 of 25 to December 31st of 26. Also be electing the corporate officers, the president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer, who also serve 2 terms from January 1 of 25 until December 31st of 26.
2-year term.
2-year terms. Then the next one is on or around June 15th, the application for candidates will be, we'll put it on both Facebook, we'll put the actual form under documents on our website, so everyone will have access. So for anyone that's interested, it'll be on or around June 15th.
Okay, that's on Saturday.
Yeah, so it could be a day before, it could be after, we'll put the word out. All applications must be received no later than August 1st of 2024. And it goes over like the in-person guidelines that the election will be held October 12th between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. The member voting in person may pick up their ballot the morning of the election. They need a photo ID and a member number. Each member will place their own completed ballot in a locked ballot box. Voting will end at 1 p.m. and then it'll be turned over to the counting committee, which I guess we'll use the same people we use from Columbia County with their
Who got?
Carol.
Okay, Carol.
Because we tried to stay away so that no one here would have really anything to
It's
do.
from the Board of
Oh,
Elections.
so those are actual employees for the elections.
And I think we
office.
paid them like $100 each
Okay.
to do that. But it took all of us away from that, so no one. Then it goes into, so we probably need to get Carol to contact them also. Goes into the absentee ballot guidelines. It says while not an election requirement, absentee ballots will be available for the 2024 election. If a member wishes to vote but can't be in attendance on October 12th of 2024, the member must request an absentee ballot no later than September 1st by phone or by email. But those are both here. And then a ballot will be mailed to the address on file for the membership. And it just goes into telling how to send it in, where to address it. Absentee ballots must be received no later than October 3rd. And that is that Monday before the members' meeting. The locked ballot box will only be opened on the day of election by the county committee. At conclusion of the election, the county committee will tally all votes. Results will be delivered to the election committee. Immediately posted on TREPO website, but usually they're pretty quick when we announce it that day. Under no circumstance will anyone be allowed to cast another person's ballots. Also, there's proxy guidelines on here, just saying that just like with the absentee ballot, they can request a proxy form. If they cannot attend, it has to be requested from the person that's going to be using it no later than September 1st. It also has our phone number and email. The proxy must be filled out and returned no later than October 7th, which is that Monday before the members' meeting.
Nobody can be collecting proxies from everybody.
Yeah, no one is to turn in, just hand in anything, proxies, absentee ballots. They need to be coming through the mail. If they can't, either need to come vote or put them in the mail.
So you're saying they have to come to the mail?
This is why I'm bringing this to the
Yes.
board. Because what happened last year, Terry would collect the mail, she would bring it to Hilda, they both would do a count on how many came in, they would both sign it so that they knew how many were in that box, and nothing could be slid in or,
I see.
so it worked last year. I felt it, went very fair, the count was perfect, there was nothing extra added to the box. The box wasn't open until those other people put in their hands. But that's why,
That sounds.
y'all have any other suggestions or how, on top of what we did last election?
There was a lot of confusion last year, I think, with people wanting to bring in last minute proxies. And the deadline had already passed, so there was some upset people, but they had passed the deadline.
But this is why we're looking to get this
Right.
out now, so
Right.
that people can see
Okay,
it
so
and
are
read
we
it.
gonna, I guess we should post it here. You gonna put it on the website also?
Yes.
Okay, so it'll be on the website?
And yeah. So that ought to be posted, and around the middle of June, the actual application will be on there. Also, the other thing I gave you is pretty much what I went over, is the instructions for absentee ballots and proxy forms. It's a single sheet, and it pretty much has that same information on it, of the same dates and when it's to be received, so nothing's different there. But each member must fill out their own ballot. And same thing with a proxy, people don't need to go around collecting proxies. If someone cannot be here and truly wants to vote, then I feel that they need to.
Well, they can't go around and do that, correct? They can't go around and do that.
Correct.
I did last year, or at the last meeting, but we wasn't even having an election then, but at that time, I told Rhonda, that's the same thing as harvesting ballots. They don't like somebody to harvest ballots, so why should we allow somebody to harvest proxies?
Didn't someone show up at your house with a folder full of them wanting to turn them in?
Oh, yeah.
But we had already put a date or the time, I think, of
Okay.
noon that day.
So we
Well,
wanna make sure that
actually-
confusion's not
Right.
out there this year, okay? All right, so,
One thing I would like to do on top of this is maybe we probably need to do it a month ahead. Once we know who our people running are, maybe a month before this members meeting, we could do a thing out here and allow them to speak so people see them and know who they are. We haven't done that in the past, but I think it wouldn't be a bad idea.
Meet and greet, you got a lot of new people in the neighborhood.
We done that last year, or the year before last. I come out.
Just a quick, so people can see, because you don't, like, you know, if you don't live here, you're just going by what somebody says about someone, or if it, you know, if you can.
So what would be something that would be convenient for everybody to, you know, people are pretty precious of their Saturdays,
Yeah.
times and whatever, so how do you do that?
I don't know, maybe you can't do a meet and greet, you can do a video,
You know,
hi, I'm,
We could, I sit there and take a video of each person.
I'll be honest with you,
Put it on
if it
Facebook.
was me, just for the convenience of folks, we ought to try to do it around a board meeting.
that would be fine too.
Well, I'm serious, we should try to find a way to do it around a board meeting and, get that information out there that the candidates would be here to speak and even know and answer questions.
Like to start at 5:30.
Sure. Just depending on how many we have, we could get an idea of that, and we can tie that together with a board meeting and
But it
that.
could, yeah, you could go with it, you'll have to shorten your part, thing, but we can do it right after, right after, get everything done, and then let
Sure.
everyone speak.
Well, since we're streaming, could we, basically just carry it,
We're not streaming.
That's,
we are meeting? Yeah,
that's what we're saying at the end of it.
Yeah.
we just
We're not
add that
streaming.
in.
That gives everybody an opportunity.
Streaming is live.
Okay, why don't we do that? Okay, any questions on the election and voting procedure? So what I do is, we did have a change from this, so what I'd like to do is just get an official motion to approve this with that change on that particular Saturday.
Motion to approve with the change for that particular Saturday.
That's the only change we had, is that correct?
Yeah, the only thing I actually took out was the fact that, they signed for 2 Saturdays, and we took that out, everything else is just the actual date, the year.
The new days.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve with the changes. We have a second. Second by Mr. Trammell. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. All right. Do we have any old business to discuss?
Just Bill.
Okay. Then, pardon me?
I said just Bill.
He said he's old.
Oh, okay. All right, we'll move on to property owners. We have anyone in the audience that would like to address the board?
If you do, please state your name and address.
My name's Clay Castles. I live at 165 Southwest Boston Terrace. You know, reserving these pavilions, if we reserve 2 of them and put more picnic tables, people want picnic tables and a fire pit, that's all they want. And so if we put picnic tables and a few more fire pits around them, people might use them more.
You mean like grills?
Okay.
And Clay, where are you thinking, in the scheme of things with all the parks, where are you thinking primarily?
Well, you can put them anywhere.
I'm just asking, you actually must have a vision or
Well, camping parks, put a few more down there and then more campsites. If we open up a little bit more areas, go down there or have lawn people clear it out. Put a picnic table, that's a campsite. Put a pit, a grill there, and that's a campsite.
okay,
And people could use those.
we'll take that into consideration.
What do we have, 6 camping sites now, 6 or 5?
According to how wet it is, you know, you gotta go by that. Probably about 2 or 3 is the maximum, I'd say, to camp in there.
2 or 3?
Yeah, I can see
Well,
more.
people go in there with tents and what have you, you know. They wanna come down to Santa Fe or, you know, fish or something like that, tie a boat up.
We're gonna have to cut back some more of that underbrush, but yeah, you're right.
Right. You know,
Well, actually,
just put a picnic table and that's a campsite. And that'll designate campsites, you won't have people everywhere.
We still have to do
Now,
this year, there's no money in
The
the budget.
pavilion campsite, have that a reserve site. But put the picnic tables and the pit, the grills, so people can use them.
For free.
Okay, we'll take a look at the budget and see what we can do. Sounds good. Anyone else want to address the board? Yes, sir.
I'm Shane Kemp.
Like the
Uh,
shirt.
Just, I want to reiterate about what Bill was saying about the members and the people in the park. 'Cause you sound like you're just saying like I can't have a guest. It's kind of how, it's kind of a rule, like, because if I have guests here that go down there by themselves,
12 people.
that I'm not with, then, and they leave the gate open, I don't want them attacked by you because they're guests of mine, but yet you don't know that they're not members. But I understand the problem of having people come in over here, because I lock my gates too, in and
Yeah,
out.
let me explain what the situation is.
Okay.
Is that when people leave the gate open for any extended period of time, anyone else can walk in and come in.
Right.
That's the real problem. And see, from a liability standpoint, if we're gonna have locking gates, it's for the members. What started all of this was the universities and the towns around, the overflow from the big park. They're all trying to figure how they can get in here. We basically got overrun with
Okay.
folks that had really no business in here. And so we were having to deal with that. They don't know our rules. They do what they want to.
Sure.
So at the end of the day, it's really for our members, these parks are, and their guests, their
Right.
family and guests. So we encourage you to bring your family and guests, but we have a responsibility to the gate. And so that's what the big concern is. And we have a lot of folks, you'll see a lot of times, the gate will be propped open. It does upset a lot of us when we see a water cooler or something holding the gate open. However, quite often, I've gone up and seen that happen, and a person really is just unloading their truck, and they're saying, I don't wanna have to, I said, gotcha.
Yeah, because it's hard to get
No.
a kayak through that
Yeah,
gate.
but we said, we got it, we understand, so, but that's the reason for that. It's not, we just don't wanna leave it open for an extended period of time.
Okay, it was just in the wording
Yeah,
of how, and I understand, because I ask people too, if you don't look familiar to me, you know, and I ask people, do you have a key, you know, as well.
right. But you know, we've got a lot of children and grandchildren that are coming in and utilizing these parks. We only want for the people that live down, because the people that live in Three Rivers are good people. So
The thing is,
we
is
want to make sure
also,
that it's their park and they're utilizing it,
Right.
not folks from the outside. We don't know who all these people from the outside are. We've had some issues in the past with groups that just happen to swing by, and they've all been drinking and having a big time, and they just, yeah.
Well,
So,
that's
and they
the
have
bed
nothing to
and
do with
breakfast.
us, and that's our job, is to keep them out.
That's all the bed and breakfasts out there.
Yeah, right.
the other thing too is, in the rules, you can bring 12 guests, you know. And the other thing is, you're supposed to be with your guests. You can't just send them down. People do it all the time. Do I check keys? No, nobody will show me their keys
And we're working on that. We're working on what you said.
And
too,
it's all
with
for
the legal
safety for
process.
the kids
Okay.
that come down here, you know what I mean? You don't want
Oh, I
some-
completely understand. I just, the way it's worded and how it's kind of, because, you know, there's sometimes that I guess they want to go out and go down, or there's time that they want to do things where I'm tired, or we're cooking, or something of that sort, so they go down by themselves. And so I just don't want them to get down there. Yeah, and I give them my key. And, I just don't want them coming back to me going, hey, this guy showed up and telling me that blah, 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 blah.
Well, what we do, the ones, the gate greeters.
And of course, I'll talk to Bill about it.
Yeah, well, the gate greeters, yeah, as long as everything is up front and communicated, the gate greeters will actually look at that number, and they may question, well, we don't recognize you.
Yeah.
And because a lot of times keys are lost, or folks give keys to other people to just come in and use.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at the end of the day, well, who are you? Who are you with, and why, or whatever? We will, when I say why, we'll question it. And it's only to protect our members.
Right.
It's the only reason that we're doing this. Otherwise, we just leave it open, wouldn't worry about it. But our parks would be overrun if we didn't, so. All right,
That's
we'll
why
move
I feel
on.
as a member too, that I should self-regulate and control the area as well.
If that was the case, we would have no problems down here if that was
Well,
the case.
and, you know, well, I'm here now.
Yeah, right. Okay, we have anybody else who want to speak to the board? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Sue Pepitone, I'm Shane's better half.
Your first name again?
I'm sorry, Samantha.
Samantha, okay.
Terry, you were saying about volunteers, or can we volunteer, or how's that working? Because I work from home, so.
We're asking for volunteers to work the gate at Hilliard Park. You don't have to sign up 9 to 6 on Saturday or 10 to 5 on Sunday.
Okay.
You have, and then you will have a class before gate reading that you'll have to take, so we'll have the rules so you can do what you can do.
Okay, is that on the site? That
It
it just
will,
signed
you
out?
just got
under
that on
documents?
there, yeah.
It's a post, it's on Facebook, it's on the group page, it's on announcements,
Okay,
plastered it everywhere.
all right, cool, I can find it. Yeah,
Just do a
okay.
search on the group. Okay, do we have anyone else want to speak to the board? Okay, not hearing that, I'll call for a motion to adjourn. A motion and a second. Motion and a second. All right. Any discussion?
Yeah, you have a good evening, man. Yeah, no, I'll shoot you. Yeah, I'll shoot you a text.
Tuesday, the 11th.
Come on, yeah, that'd be great.
Boston.
Hey, why don't they talk about these points?